Hello everyone. So welcome for this 4 days ReactJS project workshop. Okay, so can you tell me like is my voice is audible or not? It's great to go. Okay. Okay, so we just wait for another 30 seconds and then we just quickly move on to what is about this and all things. If you are in live, just give a chat in the comment box, whether you are in LinkedIn or you are in the YouTube channel, just give a comment like whether my voice is audible or everything, the live stream is perfect. Just give a comment. Okay, so I hope my voice is audible. Voice is perfect. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, first we just give a quick introduction about this 4 days, how this React workshops is going to be, and then we move on to the core we're going to learn here. Okay, so this 4 days of React.js book is going to be the workshop is going to be learn React.js by building projects. Okay, so we're going to learn the concepts from the basic concepts to some of them advanced concepts line by line by doing some of the projects. Okay, so today also we're going to do a basic minimum project, and by using that project we're going to learn the concept. Visual is not clear. Actually I don't have right now you can check, like actually I'm right now in Flickr. Just a minute. Just give a minute. My screen is visible correctly, right? So is my screen visible correctly? Okay, so just a minute. Yeah, actually you are seeing some and multiple windows opening. It is fine. Okay, so no problem with that. Okay, so no problem with that. It's just a restream where I came here and see your chat like this. Okay, so it is fine. Okay, so no problem with that, and we can move on to it quickly. Okay, so after introducing we can move on to it. No problem with that. Okay, so the thing is like this is going to be a 4 days workshop where we're going to learn about these concepts by making some mini projects, and we're going to learn the concepts. Okay, so that is the thing today. So what we're going to learn today is we just going to set up how the local environment for the React.js, and then we're going to see what are the requirements we need, and then we're going to see about what is JSX, what is JSS syntax, and then we move on to the some of the basic concepts in React, and by using this basic concept we're going to build and beautiful a mini projects. Okay, so to understand this concept we're going to build that project. Okay, so the day by day we increase our level, and then we see about the extra things in the React.js, and we end up with a beautiful full project by using React.js. Okay, so that is the idea behind this concept. Okay, so today we're going to create a simple mini contact application showing app, like a data visualization showing app, by creating a fake data, and we're going to use the data to show it in our HTML to understand these concepts, like what is JSX syntax and props, and how to use React.js, and what is the syntax behind it, and how to do this. Okay, and please note this 4 days is going to have an certificate form is going to be there, and if you fill that you will get the certification too. And number two is, today I'm going to show you some of the basic concept, and we work with the project, and these basics will not teach in the next day. Okay, so the next day we're going to learn about some new concept associated with this basics, but in depthly we don't teach tomorrow. So if you watch today, come for the next 4 days to get a knowledge, and if you miss today, just watch it and then come for next. Okay, so that's clear. Okay, so hello all, just quickly into it. So for getting into React, first we need to install Node.js. Okay, check your system with Node.js, just and find out you are installed the latest version of the Node.js or not. Okay, so how to check whether my um, system has Node.js or not? Okay, so to check that, just go for your and just say command prompt. Okay, so just go and say node, give a space dash v or version. If you give that, you can see some of the number associated with v. Okay, so if you have the version that is associated with here, then that's fine. Okay, so that is you are using the latest version of the node, and if you get this, your JS will be installed. And installing Node.js is something like you install some other applications. Okay, so Node.js is a runtime environment which need to work with the terminals, and you need to communicate with React. Okay, so it is good to install React.js in your local environment. Okay, so this is about first unit. And the second, what we need to set up the React.js a bundler. Like, so we need to set up the React.js package. How can we do that? How to structure? How can we get that? Okay, so there are several ways to set up React.js in our local system. We have CDNs, we have downloaded the entire React.js, and we can unzip it, and we can do this. And there is a little bit greater way to do that. That is what we're going to see, and this is one of the recommended way for all the developers. Okay, so that is what we're going to do. Just go to here, just creating a folder in this file, and I just going to name this like project 2. Okay, so in this project 2, I just going to open the folder, and I just going to open code with open with code. Okay, so just it is just getting into the Visual Studio Code, and you can see that right now we are in the project 2. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now next what we need the basics, the React.js. So for do, just open your terminal. Okay, so whether you are in Windows or Mac, just open your terminal, and you need to use this command npx create React app, and you need to give what file you need, in which file it need to come. Okay, so I just going to say app. So what is mean this, what is mean by this command prompt, and what is mean by this? Okay, so if you have any doubt regarding this, what you can do, just go for the beautiful documentation that is available for React. Okay, so I just click for React.js, go for here, and you can see a get it started tutorial is here. And if you click this, and you can see that like how to print hello world and how to do this, and everything is there. But don't worry, we're going to see each and everything. Okay, so here you can see create a new React app is here, right? So there are several ways to get started. Here you can notice that add React to your website by downloading it, create a new React app, a CDN link, like that. So this is the method what we have used. Okay, so for that, what are the command we need to run in your command line? Npx is nothing but I'm asking the Node.js, like, okay, so npm is like a package manager. So npx is to install every time the React.js in a particular folder. Okay, so npx create React app. So this is the command to run and to download our React folders. Okay, so that is the command. And what is this? This is the folder where we going to get. Okay, so if whatever the name you want to give, you can give, but remember the syntax. Okay, so after doing this, just go for here, just press enter. Okay, so if you're this is your first time, so just give a comment. How many of you come here as an beginner in React.js, or how many of you are here? I know React.js already, but I'm here to enhance something new, like that, and I know even a single line of code in React.js. I'm here to learn everything. Okay, just give a comment for which purpose you are here. Like if you are new here, or you already know React.js, or you don't know React.js, give a quick comment. It just make our section a little bit very easy instead of focusing on very depth concepts. Okay, so after clicking this, you can see some of the packages it's started to install. Okay, so here you can notice that what is the folder name I'm giving, a new folder is opened inside our folder, and you can see that everything started to download in your local system. So this is what, so actually what is happening is installing all the required files and all the needed file to run and work the React app, everything. Okay, so that is what it is going through. Okay, so it takes some time. If you start working with React for the first time, it takes some time. Even though if you work with some other time, it also takes little bit time. So in this time we can make our own discussion regarding this workshop, like that. I know very good Chadan Yadav, and beginner already know, but develop skills. That's great. That's great. Okay, so I just already explained, like this React goes is going to work with from scratch and doing to understand the concept. We're going to build the mini project. Okay, so that is like, for example, we have hooks, we have props. What is props? What is hooks? So to understand this, we have some. Okay, so based on this, we're going to build the projects, and we end up with the full advanced concepts of the React.js at the end. Okay, so today we're going to cover very basics. Okay, so and also I repeated that. So today you can see, like, I'm setting up the local environment, I'm working with React.js, Node.js, we want Node.js, and it takes some time to install. These much of things will not be in the next day. Okay, so if you are new, for next day you are coming, you are leaving the videos and you go for next day, I will highly recommend. It's up to your choice, but at least watch the entire video before itself. Okay, so then only you can came to know. For all the beginners, if you already work with React.js, there is no problem. Okay, so that is great. But if you are new here, this workshop is for the new persons to work with this projects. Okay, sure. Okay, okay, so all our package has been installed, and after installing this package, you can notice that something, how this is our folders and structures and some blah blah things is that. Please ignore it. Okay, so I will explain it everything, what is it and what it's happening here and all. Okay, so it does take some time. After you install it, gives some like some messages like 2.7 packages installed, something I'm looking for it, and everything is done. Once you reach it, you can see something like, we suggest that you begin by typing this. Okay, if you reach this, it is fine. We can walk further. Okay, so here you can see cd app. What does the cd mean? Cd is nothing but an index command that we need to talk with the computer, that to navigate the folder. Okay, so to navigate the directory. So right now we are in the project 2 directory, but you can note our app. This app is created new from our node modules, right? So from by using the Node.js app, we need to, if we want to work inside this app, we need to go inside this app further. So for this we need to use cd and we need to call the app. Cd is nothing but change directory, and which directory you need to move, you need to sell that. Okay, so I just going to say cd and app. Okay, so after running this, you can notice this is our path where we are currently in. So we are currently in the desktop project to app folder. Okay, so that is, if you are in this app, that is fine. Okay, so make sure and check once again if you are in this current folder or not. Okay, so that is great. And after that, what you need to run, you need to run this npm start. Okay, if you run this npm start, you can see your base React is set up in the browser. You can see that, and automatically this file, after running this code, you can see a starting development file is there, and after that you can see your Google Chrome will be open and it will be reload, and it will be show the basic structures of our React.js folder. Okay, so it will something shows like this. So this is something what and React folder is up to, like, so don't get confused if you are starting this React.js as a beginner. Okay, so this is nothing but, if you are working with HTML, some boilerplates are available, right? So you give some apostrophe and you will boilerplates available, and you need to give some hello world to whether it is render in browser or not, right? So the same thing, if you are setting React, if every local setup is done correctly, you can see this. We're going to remove all this and we're going to insert our own project. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to like, something like I'm perfect, I'm working perfect. Okay, so you can notice that you can now you can able to change this to. Okay, so I just give an example and I say like what are the essential files and what we need and everything. Okay, if I go for this index.js, app.js, and here you notice this is actually the syntax of JSX inside this, and here you can notice something image, some HTML tags, right? Some image is there, a logo somewhere fetched, and some edit is there, and here you can notice edit src app.js and save to reload. So that is what rendering here, and you can see an anchor tag is mentioned here, and this is what. Okay, so we will go and explain everything from scratch, don't worry. Okay, so what I'm going to do, if for just to understand purpose, so something what we have written locally, that is what displaying here. Okay, so if I change this, if I change this to welcome, something like this, you can see here, welcome to TWT, right? So this is changing. So file and whatever that takes, whatever the components, whatever we have in here, this is what rendering in the browser. Okay, but we don't want this website anymore. So what I'm going to do, and I just going to delete everything. Okay, so after installing it, you may think like, what is this node modules, what is this public, what is this src, what is this git-ignore, and so much of things, right? So don't confuse it. Okay, so node modules is something that we want some packages, dependencies to work with this React. Okay, so that's all inside this. Okay, so for right now, just don't touch it, that's it. Okay, and git ignore is something about associated with the git, that which all of the files you don't want to upload in your version control system, that is what git. Okay, so this package.unlock readme file, leave this. The only thing we need to walk into is the public and the src. So whatever we are giving inside the public, it's a static files like our html and the image folder, so everything that is available in publicly. Okay, so we if we go for our source folder in our website, you can see what here in the folder it is available. Okay, so the next thing is src. So src is nothing but, this is the source file where we're going to run our React work, whatever the logics, and we're going to create components, everything here. Okay, so here you can notice in those two folders, you can see so much of things is there, right? Actually we don't want it. So what I'm going to do, I just going to delete it for your convenience purpose to understanding that how HTML and CSS normally work. The same way React.js is also going to work, and that is what we're going to see now. Okay, so I just delete this and I just delete this, except this index.js. Okay, so except this index.html. So this is the only file we need. Just consider we have only a HTML file. So you are opening a Visual Studio Code, you have only HTML file. So whatever you are going to write, that is going to be displayed in the browser. Just think about that. Okay, just have that. And in SRC, what I'm going to do, I just going to delete everything except this index.js file. Okay, so this is the only source file we need right now, and we're going to create our own file whatever we want. Okay, so this is to understand. So once you get familiar with React, and after that you work with the React, then you came to know like how to how this file, what is this file, and why it is doing, or like how it is coming, all these things you can work. Okay, so right now what I just have only 2 files. Okay, so let's go for the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here you can see an index.js file is there and a public file is there. If I go here, the public file is there, and just remove it. So this is HTML. Okay, we're going to build HTML from scratch. Okay, and in here React.js is there. So we just going to remove this too. Everything is empty. So the only thing is we have 2 files. One is index.html and another one is index.js. HTML is available in public, index.js is available in the SRC. So this is going to be available in public side, and this is going to be our coding React works going to be there. Okay, okay, right. Okay, so we just going to write some HTML code. I know that you are familiar with HTML and CSS. That is why you are here in React.js, right? So what I'm going to do, we just going to create the boilerplate for HTML. So if I just create a boilerplate and I just name here as something like heading, whatever the heading we want to give, and I just going to say like a h1 tag, and here I just say hello world. Okay, so the respect for the programming we need to give, and after that just go for here twd, you can mention see hello world is that what we actually work in HTML, right? So then what we did, what we need CSS file to work with some of the decent alignment, textures, colors and all, right? So for that, inside the public folder I just create an CSS file, a style.css file. Okay, so and I just want to tell one more thing, that there is another way of including the CSS file. So I just telling this for absolute beginner. Okay, if you are already know CSS, how to import and how to the import modules and export modules works, that's okay. So I know that we can import and work the CSS too. So for to understand, normally what we do, we actually link the CSS file with the HTML, right? So after linking the CSS file, we will check that, right? So I just check this and go for this, and I say body, just give me a background color in aqua. I just save this and I just go here and I just take this, boom, right? So this is actually an HTML and CSS. We move on to React.js the next. Okay, so next what is this index.js file and what is this src file? Okay, so I just going to explain how it is work. So in this index.js, I just going to say a div. Okay, so a div with an id root. I just giving an id. So this is, I think you know, familiar with id and class and all. So this is nothing but whatever the components we going to build here in this src folder, that is going to be rendered, that is going to be displayed. Okay, so that is going to be displayed inside this id only. So by fetching this id, so that I know that you're familiar with the DOM concept, how to fetch the element, right? So by using that, we're going to add, append something here in this the div. Okay, so that is the concept. Okay, so then next what we need, we need to connect this index.html with this index.js, right? So for that, I just going to say script src dot slash go with the src index.js and after that I just give a type text slash JSX. I will explain what is JSX and what is JS format. Okay, so normally this is actually what we work with HTML and why we need React. And you have a doubt like why actually we need React, right? So React, the purpose of using React is to use reusable components and much more. So the essential thing, the key element for today is how to use what is meant by reusable components. So what is meant by reusable components? So whatever that you are keep repeating in your HTML code, we can store as a component like a variable, and whenever we want that, we can able to create multiple times. Okay, so by using this React.js, we don't want to spend time on something like repeating codes. Okay, so that is what, and wherever we want that particular component, we can use it. Okay, so I will explain it very clearly, just bear with me. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I just going to work with this index. Okay, so here where this src, inside this src folder only, where we going to work with the React.js. Okay, so for this React.js, we need several things. First of all, we need to import the modules. So that is what this node modules and this package.json and everything is here. Okay, we want to use React.js and we want to use that some DOM, React DOM elements. We need to use some of the extra packages that we need. Okay, so for that you need to import it from where? Here, from here. Okay, so importing it, you need to call the keyword import. So right now what all are the essential thing I need to work with the React means I need React. I need React. React. The next thing, import React DOM from React. Okay, instead of giving this, we just go write something like this. Okay, so everything is fine, whatever you work with. Okay, so after installing this, I know some people work with React DOM.render, something like that. I will explain what I just going to do. So some people write like, and mostly we use it to work with this, right? So React.render, and we give a space, and we need these two parameters, and the first parameter is what to render, and this where to render. Here it's nothing but what to render, and here is nothing but where to render. Okay, so what is render? So where, what are you talking about? So it's nothing but, so we need to, we here created a some of the div. So whatever I just going to give inside this index.js, it is going to be a component. We're going to see about what is component and all, and we're going to render, we're going to send that those components, those code, those HTML code into this place, and that is going to be sent to this index.html, and that is going to be displayed here. Let's see so in what place I just going to say I need an h1 tag. Okay, so in the h1 tag I just want to say, already we have hello world, and I just want to say welcome, something like this. So a decent, a simple h1 tag, that's it. And where, so where to send, so I need to send to this div element, right? So for that I just want to fetch the div. So I just, what I going to do, I just say document dot get element by id. I hope that you are familiar with what is document.get element by. It is nothing but a JavaScript DOM API where we used to fetch some elements. Okay, so I just going to say like root. Okay, so this is the place going to say where to render this, and that is what to render it. Okay, so now we're going to check it in our browser. You can see, and welcome message is added, right? Just open here, by open here like this, like this. You can notice in our HTML page we have only hello world, right? We have only hello world, and where this welcome is coming from, let's just see, look into the inspect, and we can go for our console. leave this error. We don't want console, actually we need the elements only. Leave this error, I just going to say that. And you can notice this welcome is inside the div id root. So where is the div id? So you can see nothing, it's inside it, right? So by using this index.js, we are sending this html, a single element, to this DOM. And the same, like we can able to pass everything, and we're going to pass everything in that element only, and whatever we are going to send, it is going to be rendered in this div only. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. And here you can notice, we most of you work with that React 17, I think, right? So you can see that React render is no longer supported in the React 18. You can use the create route instead of, until you switch to the new create API, like that. So to get rid from this error, just click this link. So this is because something we use React DOM.red. So this is, it's being used but not right now. So what you need to do, you just need to work with this. Just copy and I paste it, nothing bad. So what they are doing, so you can see they create a container, they create an variable called container, and they document or get element by id, and they store that app into it. And after that they say create root. So this create root is the if you use TypeScript or anything like that, you can use the not container like that. Let's just leave this. Okay, so this create root is going to be creating an element for us. And here what you want to send, you can send that. Okay, so this is nothing, instead of writing react dom.render, we are creating by using the Vendla JavaScript, something like that. And we can use the create root to create a root for this document.get element by id. After creating the root, we can use this variable and we can use this render method, and we can render it whatever we want. So I just going to render this welcome message. I just cut it and I just going to paste it. And this is not we need. Same thing, but it is the newest, that is what we using in our React 18. Okay, so here you can see React 18 introduced a new root API which provides better economics for managing routes. Okay, so this is something like by using create routes, you can create the route for the particular element you are fetching, and then you can send whatever the element you want to, you can send. And you can see there is no absolute change between these elements and all. Like, where is our folder? Like here it is, right? Right, and here you can notice that React DOM render is no longer supported a messages again. And this is because something like we need to add slash client. That's it. Like, just add this. Okay, so this is because of this root we need to, whether id we need to give, that is okay. After running this, you can see there is no error. So what I did, you need to import, that is a new API concept, that is what you need to import. And you need to fetch the element from where you are fetching, and you need to store it in a variable. And after storing that is create root, that is creating the root. And after and that is stored in some variable, and that variable is rendered. You use the render, whatever you are using here, it will be rendered here. Okay, so instead of giving that, like if I right now I'm only using HTML like welcome.js something, if I want to build the entire app, what I want to do, okay, so that is here we get into the React. Okay, what I'm going to do, I need to, so by using React we can separate everything separately. That is the power of React. So what I'm going to do, I just going to create an src. In this, I just going to create a file name app.js. Okay, so this app.js is going to responsible for collect all my components. Okay, so that is the purpose of this. Okay, I think everyone must understand, no doubts, right? User del document window PowerShell profile cannot load because running script is disabled on the system. Just just check whether you have Node.js, and after that just go and use, instead of PowerShell, just going to use like something called the git bash, or use this VS Code terminal like that and try it again. Okay, so cannot be loaded because running scripts is disabled on the system. I hope that let's check it. Okay, so we move on to that, and this app.js is where we go to that, and simply just to for the beginner understanding concept, you just say import wherever you are using that React, just say React from React. Okay, if you are using or not, just go with that. Okay, so right now, okay, after that, what you need to do, you need to create a function. Okay, so in this function, this function is nothing but everything is a component that is going to end, and you see some of the different changes here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I just going to create a function, and I just going to name app, open the console, and I just say return like that, not console, like the curly braces, and I just going to write something like this: h1 welcome all. Okay, so here you can notice what I read. What is this? Okay, so I'm not doing nothing, that I just written a function, and you can notice that this is in caps. Okay, so I written in caps. That is the reason between this. You need to do that. So this is something like a component. Okay, so you can say like wherever you want to use it, you can just call this app, and you can use whatever you are inside, whatever the code written inside this. So the HTML code you are going to return. If I call this app, then what would happen, this function is going to return this HTML code. If I want to add something more, something like paragraph, and you can see some of the error messages throwing in my VS Code, right? So this is because if you are working JSX, so this is not something like normal HTML. It is something called as JSX. Why I'm saying that? Because you notice that we are not in a HTML folder. We are in a JavaScript folder. So to write HTML in JSX, then you need to wrap everything in a single component. Okay, so you should send a single element only. So to wrap this, what we can do? So we have h1, we have paragraph. We can simply wrap it by using a div element. Using this, and we can close this like this. So now what happened, we are sending only one single element, and inside this element only we have some divisions, like some h1 is there, and inside the div parent element only we have some child elements. So and the JSX syntax, whenever you creating a component, so I just explain how it is going to explain on top. So the only thing is, whenever you are writing something in a function inside the JS, if it is in HTML format, then you need to do only one thing, wrap it by using div, because it needs only one parent element, and every other child element should be inside that parent element, right? Okay, so the next thing what I'm going to do, instead of welcome all, I just going to say like hey, something like this. Okay, so now this import, what has been by import, so this is something what ES6 concept you learned in JavaScript. So import a particular thing I want it for this file, so that is why I'm importing it. So if I want to use this file, if I want to use this function, this component in somewhere else, what I want to do, I need to export it. Okay, so there are several ways to export it, but if you have only one component, that is what you need to export that, then what you need to do, just say export default is a default method, and you need to call this app, not like this app, and note this first line, the first letter is caps, and don't provide this okay, so this is something like calling the evoking the function. It is something work like an immediate evoking concept, but we don't want that. So I'm simply sending this to somewhere else, so whoever exporting this app, they can use this. Okay, so that is the concept behind this. So remove this, you just want to do this. So now I'm exporting it, so where I need it, so the place where we render our HTML, so the where is the place where we render HTML, here, right? So here is only we render all the HTML, which means the JSX syntax. So we want to use in this page. So if you want to use this in this page, then what we need to do, we need to import it. So what to import? We need to import the app from where we need to import from the same directory app, and you don't want to view that .js or .jsi, something like that. It is automatically recognized that. Okay, so after importing this, now you need to use that, right? So the purpose of importing this is we need to use inside this folder. Okay, so I just going to use here. What is this actually? What I'm doing here? So I'm not doing anything. So what I did, so this is called as something called as components. This is something called as components. Okay, so okay, a component is nothing but where we can use it whenever we want it, and it is a block of block of syntax that we can use it. Okay, so here, okay, so if I say app, and you can notice the syntax, right? This is nothing but a self-closing tag. So whenever you're working with some of the basic HTML like input, like image, you can see they are self-closing tag, but you don't notice this slash is there. This slash is something like it is saying like I'm going to end. Okay, so that is, so actually this is going to be the component. This is going to be the component. Okay, so what I did, I just created an HTML, and you can notice in our page, you can see a welcome all is displayed and a hey is displayed. So I just created this. The syntax for this, you just want to call the function app, and you need to give the return keyword and wrap it by do, and whatever you need inside this, you can just write the basic HTML code, and you need to export it. After exporting it, you can fetch it by using the import keyword, and then you need to call that like similar like this. Okay, so this is now going to use as a component. So wherever we want this, we can use it. Okay, so for example, if I say, if I wrap this, if I wrap this with something like this is not nothing but it's same like the div. Okay, so the div have meaning, the same like this is also have no meaning. So if I call app for 2 times here, okay, so here if I call app for 2 times, you can notice welcome all, hey welcome all is there. Okay, so this is the actual power of components. So what is it is doing? So if I want to create the same thing in my normal HTML, what I need to do, I need to tell the h1, and I just want to say welcome all. I need to tell them my paragraph tag, and I need to again go for h1, and I need to tell that I need to write it for 4 times. If I want it for thousand, hundred, or whatever the thing, like 10 to 4 times, what I need to do, every time I need to write the HTML, every time I need to the paragraph, and like what I want to use that. But in React, it comes handy. So once you create something like this, what you can do, so when you are calling this, okay, when you are calling the component, so this is something like component. So now we can use the component wherever we want. Just you need to export it, and you need to import it. So after importing that, you can call how much times whatever you want, it can be rendered in your browser. Okay, so we don't want to create everything from the scratch. So once it is built, you want, so in that entire React project, wherever you want, you can create it. Just think about that. If you are creating a navbar, and you need to create the same navbar for the next page, and what you do, you just copy all the code, and you need to paste it in the HTML, or you use something called as require include function, something in JavaScript, right? So here it comes handy. You create a component, and you can use wherever the component you are. The best example is when you working with the buttons, right? So we have the same buttons wherever we want to. So when we want to use working with the buttons or chords, something like that, we can use that, right? Something like that. Okay, and you have a doubt how we can style this, right? So that is the next we going to see. So in here, what do we going to give a class? If I give a class something like this, and I just say this is going to be an head like this. After saving this, if I go for my inspect, and open my console, you can see some error is throwing. So what is this? Okay, so again I'm repeating that we are not using the HTML. We are right now using JSX. So something that syntax that allows JavaScript to run in HTML and the HTML to allow run in JavaScript. Okay, so for using this, so here it is an HTML tag, right? But class is a reserved word in JavaScript. What is meant by reserved words? Like let, const, functions, this, and for loop, while loop, these words. So for using that, we use some words, right? Some keywords. So those words are reserved words. So what is class? Class in JavaScript is a reserved words, right? So we use this to create an object, right? So in here, if you want to use this as an attribute, you you cannot use the reserved words in JavaScript for an attribute as an HTML. So how can we use this? We can use this something like class name, like this, you can use it, and whatever you want to give, and you can give this. And what is this class name? So this is how you need to give the class. Okay, so you need to give the class in the HTML. Okay, the page is flickering, I think so. I hope that so I hope that now the flickering is stopped, right? So this is because of multiple bandwidth I'm using. Sorry for that. So can I use the code sandbox instead of creating new app in VS? Of course, you can use the code sandbox and you can import it after you completing the project, and you can import using the code sandbox. You can able to export it to your GitHub too. Okay, so you can connect your local, you can download it. If you want to download, you can download it as zip file and you can use it. That is not a problem. And it also set an environment for you. Okay, so by default you can use that. There is no problem, absolutely no problem that. Okay, so the class name is nothing but this is how you need to set class in the JavaScript. Okay, so if I on the video that some flickering has happened, I think so, that is why I just stop it. And here you can see the class name what I returned in normal HTML. It is just showing like class, right? So this is that. And what we can do by using that, we can go for our style.js and we can style it like something like head, and I can style it like background color it's violet, something like this. And you need to put a dot. It is a class, right? You can see wherever I put that, and you can notice that power of the components, right? If I put, you can see here I just called the app for so many times, that is why it rendered everything. And if you want to apply, I just here you can see if you want to apply the same styling for multiple elements, how we need to fetch everything, right? So normally we give a same class and we can do that, right? So the same thing is happening here also. Okay, so just because of I'm render it in multiple time and I call it and I use that component in multiple time, and I can use and I can just enter it. And this is the power of components. Wherever you want this component, you can render it. So right now we have just simple component only. Okay, so what is the idea behind this app.js is the app.js is going to handle all our component in a structured way. Okay, so and okay, just 10 minutes we have. Okay, so I just going to just give a quick intro. So this is going to handle all our components, small components in a structured way. That's it. Okay, so what we going to do, we just going to create a component, much quicker, much faster. Okay, so because we learn about components, so we just going to create something special. Okay, what I'm going to do inside this src file, and I just going to say comp, okay, something folder, and inside the component I just going to place my all my components. So what I'm going to do, I just going to say like I need a component, I need a header component, and I just going to name as JSX, and some people name JS, that is absolutely fine. JSX, that is also absolutely fine. And if you want the clean code of React, just go and read the documentation available in Airbnb clean code for React.js, and that is good. And I just need something called as .js, JSX, okay, and I just going to call another folder that body, something like this, body.jsx, okay, to understand components. Okay, so I just going to create several components here. Okay, so I just going to say import React from React. Okay, so like this, I just going to say, I just going to create some function. Okay, some function, and I just going to say like header. Okay, so like this, and to say return. Okay, so I just going to say something like this, return, and I just going to say like one, and here we can say like welcome web, something like this. Okay, so this is going to be our header of the website. Okay, so I just want to export it, right? So export default, and I just going to say header, like this. Okay, so where we want it in the app.js. I just going to say import header, this component, it automatically renders for me, and use this component, something called as headers, and I just close this. And in here we don't want much thing, we just want the single thing. Okay, so the idea behind is this is going to render app.js, and the app.js is going to render all our components. Okay, so this is going to be the footer components, and I just say, okay, so here I just say like a function, I just copy the same thing. Okay, so we can copy the same thing, like paste it here. Instead of here, copyright so copyright, something like this. Okay, so I just going to name this as footers, and I just going to name this as footers, and I just going to give a class name foot. Okay, here in the head I just going to give a class name head. Okay, and to have the body, we can create a component like this, and here we can give something like body. Okay, and we can say body. So just because I just creating a component, and I just going to render it. Okay, something like this, and I just going to structure it line by line. So this is going to be the head, and the next is going to be my body. Okay, so whether the body is fetched, oh, here I need to import it, import body from body. Next, import footers from foot. Okay, so next thing is I just want to use the footer, like this. Okay, so if I save this, go for here, just refresh here, and you can see something like this. Okay, so in the app.js, and header file is there, in app.js the header file is there, and a footer file is there, and a body file is there, and in the footer file, where is this is body, right? Content, something like this, copyright is reserved. If I go here, you can see, just remove the index.html. You can see this app.js is file, this is header, and this is going to be the content, and this is going to be the copyright. And wherever we want, we can use it. And whatever the style you need to give, you can give it. Like something like instead of head, it is giving like this, right? So I'm just going to say dot foot. This is going to be the footer. So I'm just going to say like position absolute, bottom 0 pixel, and I just going to say, just give me a 5 minutes, we will do it again. Okay, height, but it's going to be the 100%. Color, it's going to be the black, and color of the website is going to be the abscess blue. Font size is going to be 32 pixel, something like this. Okay, so let me check. Let's see how our footer is aligned. You can see our footer is aligned something like this, and you can give margin 0 pixel, and text align is going to be center. Okay, so copyright is reserved, and our content page is there, and what style we want to give, we can give it. And you can notice that our content is based something like this, right? So we can give a styling, and we can say something great. Like for example, I just going to give a basic height and all. Like for example, I just going to say like this is going to be the body, and I just going to say height is going to be 300 pixel, and width is going to be 30 pixel, and border is going to be 2 pixel solid black, right? Something like this. And you can notice what happened, 30%, not pixel, 30% of the entire screen. You can see a content is created, and what we can give, more than in pixel, something like this. And you can see this is the header. Like we can, whatever the nav we want to add, we can give here. And this is considered something like a footer, and you can see a content is there. And if I want to add more content same like this, what we can do, we can just go for our app.js. Here our body is there, just copy it and just give multiple times like this, you can see we can add more content, right? So here we just say bottom, that is why it said this is because of the styling. Don't worry about this. This is because of the styling we give. Okay, so this is because of the styling we made. Okay, so whatever you want to the content you need to give, you can give. So instead of this, you can give like this, like this. Now it should be great, right? Like this. Okay, so just think about this. This is an idea. I just saying an idea. Like this is going to be a nav bar, and this is the reusable content we used. Okay, so today we just only see about what is components and what is the reusable component. What is components and how can we use that, and how it is essentially purpose. Okay, so then tomorrow only we just going to see about how to use this component and make some dynamic changes. For example, here we can render one image, and here we want to render a different image. So this is a copy of this, but I want to the content inside this, I want the same layout, and I want the same structure. Like it has a heading, it has a picture, it has something, but every component has to be rendered different. So that is something called as props, and that is what we're going to learn tomorrow. Okay, so this is something like today just we see about the basic structure. And I hope that tomorrow I don't going to explain like how to create a React app. This is waste of time, and even I wasted 15 times in downloading that, right? So tomorrow it's not going to be that, and we're going to use that. Okay, yeah, tomorrow we just going to learn about how by passing props, how to change everything. Like what is props, but first of all, what is the ideology behind props, and what is props and all, we just going to see about tomorrow. And we going to do some of that like data visualization tomorrow, like to render the fake data and to show it in show it in our website, and we're going to display those data in our website dynamically, and everything has its own different contents, but with the same components. Okay, so that is how we're going to see about. Okay, so like for example, there is another thing also, like we going to tomorrow, we just going to, this is just something like just you can consider, and you can just want to, if you want a certificate, you need to complete at least 2 project from here. Okay, so from this workshop, then only you can get the certificate. And the projects all you can see that tomorrow you going to have all the project. Today I just give a detailed intro about the React.js to get started. Tomorrow you're going to have the projects and all, and if you recreate those projects by your own ideas and creativity, then the form will be provided in the description only. After submitting those projects like the GitHub link, and you will get to know, you will provide the certificate. Okay, so this is all about that. Okay, so we are done for today. So this is something like how to set up React and what are the things and what is the structure. So I feel like most people just get like why these files are there like that. So for that only we just created an HTML and style and an app by own, and we do with our own, like what is how this index.js is working, what is the purpose of this, and we created a mediator like app.js. This is containing all our components, and what is meant by components, how can we break it, and what is the use of the components we see today. And tomorrow we're going to see about the props, and by using the props, how can we change directly, like here you can see we give some contents manually, right? So instead of it, how can we change something dynamically, and we're going to see about the real power of React.js tomorrow. And after that we see about some of the concepts like hooks and all. Okay, so that's all for today, and we catch you in the next section. And once again I'm repeating, like you need a certificate, you need to do at least 2 projects by your own from this section, and if you do that, submit your GitHub link, you get your certificate and all. Okay, so just wait for one more second, and if you have any doubts and regarding this, you can do that. And I think Ankit Namido that user Dell documents Windows PowerShell, it just and copy this is in your internet and find the solution for your system that's showing like. So just copy it and paste it here. Right, my internet is very fine, and just go and copy this, and you just find out what is the reason behind that, right? You are not able to send the scripting file and all. Okay, so I'm also gone through this, but I not really remember what is the error I changed. Okay, so maybe just install the Node.js, just check the file whether you have in your node or not, and after that you can do. Okay, 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 so that's it. So we see you in the tomorrow section with a detailed project work. Okay, instead of just creating the layout. Okay, see you guys.